Welcome, scholars. We are going to be treating manufacturing of fabrics. Now, let's take a look at the topic outline. Under the topic, we're going to be looking at manufacturing of different fibers and their uses. Fibers undergo certain processes before they come out as what? Fabrics. Some undergo simple chemical processes for their production. The first fiber I'll be looking at is what? The wool fiber. Wool is a product obtained from the hairs of animals such as goats and sheep, and it is produced in countries like the United States, United Kingdom, South Africa, New Zealand, etc. Now let's look at the process of manufacturing wool. First is clipping. This is cutting the hair from the sheep. The fleece is then packed and transported to the factories. Next is sorting. Sorting simply talks about fibers being sorted according to length, strength, and colors. Now, scoring. This is the washing of the hairs in hot and soapy water to remove dirt and grease. Next is what we call carbonizing. Wow. This is dipping the staple into dilute sulfuric acid, which makes the fiber easy to crush in later stages. If you don't do this, the fibers will not be easy to crush. Next is carding. This is the blending of the mixture, converting them into soft, thin bands. Next is combing. This is removing the short broken thread from the band. After carding, the next process is combing, which is to remove the short broken thread. Next is spinning. Spinning is very simple. This is drawing and twisting the fibers together to form a long thread. When you twist the fibers together to form long threads. Weaving is the final stage, and this is the twisting of the long thread into wool cloth. So you have to twist them to form clothes. Next is the uses of wool. We use wool for different purposes like your handbag, your cardigan, your tie, your foot match, your belt, your blanket, etc. Next, we are going to be discussing the silk fibers. Silk is known as the queen of fibers because it is very, very expensive. It is an animal fiber that is obtained from silkworm, and it is produced in countries like China, India, Japan, South Korea, etc. Now let's look at the manufacturing process of silk. First, the cocoons are placed in hot water to melt the gum and expose the thread. The ends of the thread are disclosed by crushing the surface of the cocoons. The ends of the thread from several cocoons are wound together simultaneously to form thread that are thick enough for handling. The twisted thread are reeled into silk, still surrounded by gum. Thereafter, the twisted thread are woven to form a strong yarn by a process called throwing. Thereafter, the gumming takes place, which is removing the gum from the silk in boiling water. Then also you weave it into different yarn. Silk is used for different purposes, like the making of umbrella, your sewing thread, your scarves, and your tie. Next, we are talking about the cotton fibers. They are also called the useful fibers. They are vegetable fiber. The cotton plant is grown in tropical countries of the world such as America, India, Egypt, Nigeria, China, etc. Cotton fiber is obtained from the balls of the cotton plant. Now let's look at the processes of manufacturing cotton. Cotton go through a lot of processes. The process of manufacturing cotton fibers includes the following. The first one we'll be talking about is ginning, and this is the process of removing seed, stalk and leaves and other impurities from raw cotton fibers by using a machine. Next is baling. This is the transportation of the cotton to the factory. After removing the seed, they are transported to the factory. Next is bale breaking. Here, the bales are fed into machines which breaks down the matted fiber and gets rid of the remaining impurities. After bale breaking is done, the next one is what we call carding. Here, the fibers are separated, the short threads are removed, leaving ropes of fiber called silvers. Yes, this is where the silvers are what formed. After the process, combing comes into play. The silvers is passed over revolving drum that are set with teeth, which lays the silver side by side. After combing comes spinning. Spinning is drawing out and twisting of the thread into continuous lengths for what? Weaving. Then we have winding. This is removing any fault in the thread and rolling them into larger reels. After winding comes doubling. This is further twisting together of two or more threads for greater strength. Then weaving. The thread or yarn are woven to produce fabric. Then lastly, printing. The woven fabric is passed through rollers which print on patterns and color. Now let's go to the uses of what cotton fibers. They are used for making nightwears, sewing dress, skirts, children clothing, etc. Now let's move to what linen fabrics. Linen is a vegetable that comes from what flax plants. It is produced in countries like Poland, Netherlands, Russia, etc. The process includes retting. Here, the flax stem are soaked in tank and frequently the wooden covering rots away, exposing the fibers of what the linen. After retting is what? Scorching, and this is the cleaning of the fibers and freeing them from seeds and stem coverings. Yes, now we have come to the end of this lesson. Okay, feel free to ask any questions that you don't understand pertaining to this topic, and don't forget to answer the questions on your content page and quizzes. Bye. See you in our next class. And remember, hard work pays.